everybody. Thank you for joining me today. I recently had an opportunity to join a swap, a block swap. I don't normally do this, but it was being put on by Joan Ford, or it is being put on by Joan Ford of Hummingbird Highways. And Joan does scrap therapy. She's written 3 books now, and they are all fantastic. And so I really wanted to give it a shot. What it is it's the ribbon star block swap pattern. And it's using a interfacing, let's see if I have a piece of it. And it's using an interfacing that she has designed. It's fusible. So you put your fabric pieces down on it, press it, and then sew it together. There are a few absolute necessary rules within the swap. You have to buy the background fabric from a kit that she has. I believe some fabric stores are going to offer the kits here pretty soon, and so everyone will be using the exact same background fabric. You must use her scrap therapy interfacing, and you must use, without exception, fabric store quality boutiques. So it means no Joanne Fabrics boutiques, no cheap boutiques, so that you know if you participate in this swap, you're going to get some really nice boutiques, which was really one of the reasons why I was willing to do the swap. I made up these blocks. So these are the blocks that I did. You do a total of 12 of them. You keep one. You mail the other 11 to a specific person. She will double check the blocks to make sure that they meet all of their requirements. If they do, you will be sent back after the 10th of every month the 11 new blocks that are completely different. So if you'd like to participate in this block swap, I will leave the link below directly to Joan's website where you can sign up for it. And if you'd like to see how I went about putting my blocks together, please stay tuned and you'll get a peek. So once you get your half square triangles all cut, you're going to square them up. Now, if you were using what are called triangles on a roll, these are 2.5-inch finished blocks, and I needed 2-inch finished blocks. Otherwise, I would have made mine with this paper because, boy, once you cut them apart, they're all ready to go. And I do have a tutorial on them, and I will link it below so that you can go back and watch that one if you'd like to. But these triangles on a roll are great. I just didn't have the right size. So what I'm going to do is use my center line to square these up, and it's just a matter of up one side, across the top, clean it up, and sometimes you have to go back and do a little extra cleanup, and then turn it around and keep going. And I'm going to do that to my stack. Once I've done that to my stack, then I actually am going to meet you over at the ironing table again so that I can show you how I'm going to put them on the form that is required. With this, as I said in the beginning, this block swap requires that you use her special interfacing. Joan has developed this herself, and it really is a neat concept, because once these blocks are all sewn together, that's it, they're done and they're ready to go. So this is the interfacing again. It is designed by Hummingbird Highways, which is Joan Ford. So as soon as I get my stack all trimmed up, I'm making a mess here. Once I get my stack all trimmed up, I will meet you over at the pressing table so I can show you how I'm going to lay these out and press them down. Alright, so what I need to do next is to lay these out based on the instructions that I have. So I'm going to start with my 2-inch squares, and the instructions tell you exactly where to lay these out so that it makes it a little bit easier. And there's dotted lines and solid lines and X's that show you where things are going to intersect. So I'm just going to lay these out based on that information. So I'm just going to take my phone and take it up, take a picture of it, and then I'm going to look at my picture and make sure that all of my stars are spinning. And I think I have them right. It looks like I do. They definitely look like they're spinning around. So now I'm going to take, this is a applique pressing sheet. You can get these on my website. It's called the applique pressing sheet. I'm just making little fussy adjustments to them. And they are it is a little fussy of an adjustment, but I don't mind it. It's no big deal. Definitely not anything that's difficult to do. So I'm going to start by getting these first 2 blocks lined up. Whoop. And then I'm going to carefully lay the pressing sheet over it. And then what will happen is I will be able to very, very easily press it. And the reason why I want to use the pressing sheet is because I don't want this to stick to my the bottom of my iron, because it'll definitely ruin it. So I'm just going to lay the pressing sheet over it. And you can definitely see right through it to see what's going on, if something moved when you laid it down or not. And I'm just going to press these first ones. And what this pressing sheet will do is the heat will adhere it to this, but not to my iron. So I'll be safe. I won't destroy my iron. So there's my first my first 2 blocks, and I'm going to now do the middle ones. And the middle ones, you'll be able to see a little bit better. I lost one of them. All right, so here I go again. I'm just going to kind of mess with these a little bit just to make sure that they're lined up inside of the squares where they belong. I think that looks good. And I'm just going to take my pressing sheet again, and now I'm working on my middle 2 blocks. And I'm just going to press those down. And then I'll just gently roll it aside. And they're stuck, so this one that I've got a little bit off, I'm going to try to move it. I've never done this before. I just didn't like the way that was off a little bit. So we're going to give it a shot again. It worked, and it adhered. So that was very good news, because I hadn't done that before. course, I made a mess out of my last row. So let's realign everything here. And now I'm working on that last row of just aligning that up nice. Okay, so that's my third one, my third set. Now I'm going to press those. Okay, now I think everything's pretty well adhered down. Yep. So now over to the sewing machine I go. And what I'm going to do now is, according to the directions, it says to fold so that the dotted line is on the crease. And then you're going to stitch. And I'm going to stitch 2 rows, skip a row, 1, 2 rows, skip a row, and then 1, 2. Now I'll show you what it looks like once I've got that part sewn. Okay, so now you can see what I've done is I've made my first sewings. And I've gone ahead and clipped it the way I was told to in the instructions for this pattern. And now I'm going to be folding it like this and sewing it the other way. And I'll come back and show you what it looks like once I've done it. I have finished sewing the blocks, and next thing is I'm just going to cut them apart, which is obviously pretty simple. And then I'm going to cut these 3. I'm not sure why that one didn't adhere very well. So before I go farther, I am going to grab my pressing sheet, and I am going to press that right down again, because it's important that these are adhered properly. So now it's down there. Okay. I'm going to press from the back side of this to make sure that this entire block is down. There. And I'll do it on that side too. Alright, so there's one of my blocks. Here comes my next one. And 2 more cuts. One, and here's my other one. All right, so now I've got these. I'm just going to do one more good press across the back here, just to make sure that I've got them down good. Now what I'm going to do is see if you just, hopefully you can see this, if you just take the pieces and just kind of spread them apart, what's going to happen is they're going to pop. And then I'm going to go in here and I'm just going to clip them, because I want those to lay open fairly flat. I want them to, because I don't want too much bulk in my seams. So I'm just going to clip them. I'm not clipping to the threads. I'm clipping just before the threads because I don't want to clip my threads, obviously, because if I do that, then I really have a problem. My block will fall apart. I'm just sticking the scissors in there and just clipping. And then what's going to happen by doing this is when I lay this block open, it's going to lay nice and flat. And then I can really press it. See how nice and flat this is? And now I can really press it good. Press it. And I am pressing this time. I'm not ironing. I'm just doing a really good heavy press down. And then I'm going to trim away the excess. There's my block. Just going to trim away that excess. I actually like these scissors better. I think it's time to order the next size up. They have ones that are, the blades are about like this. I like these because there's like this, it just, I don't know why, but I like these a lot. They tend to really hang on to the fabric. So there's that one, and I will show you all of them when I finish trimming them all up. All right, here are my 12 blocks. I get to keep one, and I need to send the rest of them off to the block exchange. Not sure which one I want. I guess it really doesn't matter because they're all the same. So I will pick my one and send the rest of them off. Thank you so much for joining me while I showed you how I made my ribbon star blocks for my block swap. I hope you are going to join the swap. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait to see what patterns or what boutique fabrics I get next month. And who knows, get on Joan's website and order your package, and just possibly you'll end up with one of my blocks. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, please do subscribe and give me a thumbs up so that YouTube knows that you like this type of video. Thanks so much. Have a great day. Bye.